I'm going to tell you how I paid off $120,000 in student loan debt in 1 year. I'm going to tell you exactly how I did it. I got my notebook, my pen. We are ready. Let's get started. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Colette. If you're new here, I talk all things motherhood and all kinds of other stuff. We are not just surviving, we are thriving. About 2.5 or 3 years ago, my husband and I decided that it's time to take care of my student loan debt, even though I was waiting for Biden to help me. That never happened. And good thing I didn't wait for that, because I got myself into this mess and I got myself right out of it. So let's get started with the first thing I did. Now, the first thing to do is have a very clear game plan. And it doesn't just start, you wake up in the morning and decide to pay off your student loan debt. That's not how this works, because for most of us, it's not a priority. The plan was to become debt-free. We didn't want to have any debt except for our mortgages. So we took all of our debts with the highest interest rate to the lowest interest rate, and we started knocking those debts out. So we have no car payments. We have no credit card debt. We took care of all that stuff first, because whenever you're dealing with debt, I used to be a personal banker, you always take care of debt that has the highest interest rate, because if you're taking care of everything else, that stuff is still charging you more. So it's like a lose-lose. So take care of things that have the highest interest rate first, and then take care of everything else. And of course, we had a cushion. We have savings. We have investment. Don't you dare try and pay these people their money back and not have no money in your savings account. Rainy day fund. You're supposed to have at least like $1,000 put away just in case something happens. And then have more savings. But they say like 3 months of your income put away. Do all that stuff first. These student loan people, they can wait. So we had all our finances ready. And then once the finances were ready, then we decided, okay, now it's time to start paying off this debt. So basically, I took $120,000 and I divided it by 12. That was how much we had to pay every month to get this done in 1 year. Some people say, why a year? I don't know. I have no clue why we chose a year. We wanted it done fast, and I felt like I didn't want to stretch it out so much. Who wants to pay back student loans? No one wants this. But I could not afford to go to school without having loans. My parents didn't have this big account for me for college, and I wasn't smart enough to get scholarships. We took that number, and then that was how much we had to come up with every single month in income to be able to take care of that. So we had the goal in place. We knew how much we needed to pay every month, which is what we needed to at least make that and more to cover our bills. If you're not familiar with what I do, I'm a full-time content creator. So basically, I make videos like this on the internet. I started for fun, and it became something bigger. I grew a business out of it, which you hear a lot of people doing that. But there's a lot of money to be made on social media, especially if you're willing to be yourself and build a community. And I was able to build that community not at the same year that I'm paying out my student loan debt. This is planned. Like, I knew that I wanted to do it soon. I had to put in the work years before so that I can, in 2024, be able to take care of it. So step 1, have a very clear and concise game plan. Step 2 is I turned all of the skills that I had into income. How can I make enough money every month to cover this number? Because I have $120,000 in student loan debt and I have 12 months to pay it off, I had to come up with additional $10,000 of income every month to be able to cover that student loan bill. So did all the money come from me working in social media? No, there are other things that you can do with the work that I do to make money. And here's the thing. I know a lot of people are not self-employed, right? And a lot of people don't have multiple sources of income. Well, this may be the year that you get it. You may have to do Uber Eats. You may have to cut some gas. I don't know. What are you willing to do to pay this debt off? So for me, I leveraged my social media account. I posted every day. Whether it was outfits, makeup, cooking, I posted everything, and I tagged every single brand. I did a video with me cleaning up my mudroom, and purposely I pulled out a box of Clorox disinfectant wipes. Then I tagged them. Do you know that brand paid me enough to pay off my student loans for 2 months? Little things like that. I was very intentional about the work that I did and the tags I made, and even using affiliate links. So if I bought some lip gloss that I love or was a hair product that I love, I shared it all over my social media. And when people bought from those links, I made money. My husband and I are also self-employed, so we do own a photo booth company in Charlotte called QC Booths. And that, of course, is another source of income. But I just knew that this is something that I want to take care of myself. So a lot of the money that I was making wasn't part of our household income. It was going straight to the student loan debt. Like I said, plan. We planned for this, okay? Now, and here's the thing, when you're creating content, I didn't want to do anything outside of what was normal for me. I've been creating content for 5 years now. A lot of it I did with my kids, and I was like, well, I wanted to kind of do this Simply Collect, which is the name of my brand, name of my YouTube page, and all that stuff. Create a brand separate from everyone else where it's just strictly me, so that I'm the one making the money. Of course, I do have to pay my management team, but when I tell you the deals started rolling in, because the year before I decided to pay it off, I started getting brand recognition. Like, certain persons started to send me stuff in the mail. I mean, all kinds of stuff was starting to happen for me because I put in the work beforehand. Going back to step 1, planning. Thankfully, I did the work in advance. Now I'm getting recognized by these brands. Perfect timing, right? Because I have this loan debt to pay. And I also was very honest with my platform. I told people online that, hey, I'm on a journey. I'm paying off my student loan debt. And of course, they knew that whenever I did brand deals, they were so excited because they knew that that money was going strictly towards my student loan debt. So it was like a win-win, not just for me, but for the community that I have built online. Step 3, budgeting. Now, people don't like to use this word, but whenever you're doing something like this, you have got to have some type of budget in place. So of course, now we have no debt other than our homes, right? But that doesn't mean I don't like to shop. Doesn't mean I don't like to go on vacation or do... A lot of that stopped last year. I did not do nearly as much as I would have normally. Still my postpartum body, clothes that I wanted to buy, I didn't buy because, hello, I'm paying off my student loan debt. So a lot of things I didn't do, and we stuck to a very strict budget. But also, when you're sticking to a budget, like, it's not like you can't eat out every now and then. You can't, if you feel like you can't do those things and still live, you're going to burn yourself out. So figure out a game plan. So for me, $10,000 was doable because I had already been doing it before. It's just now it's super, like, it's like hyper focused. So that I knew that maybe if I had a really good month and I made like $30,000, let's just say I had a $30,000 month creating content. We knew that, hey, I may not have that same month next month. We're going to double down. So instead of putting $10,000 down, I put $20,000 down. Now these numbers seem really high. And when I think about it, it's like, you're making that kind of money? Yes. You'd be surprised the type of money that you can make on social media. Now, of course, I have to pay taxes. I have to pay my management team. If my children are in my content, I got to pay them too. So all the money doesn't directly come to me, but a lot of it does. And although budgeting isn't fun, no matter if you have $120,000 in student loan debt or $10,000 in student loan debt, you still need to budget that out based on your income and based on what you know you have coming for the year. There were a lot of no's. There were a lot of things I couldn't do or couldn't, whether it's to go to or to buy. There's so many gifts I wanted to get or so many things I wanted to do for people that I love that it just couldn't happen that year. It just couldn't happen that year. And that's okay, because remember, 12 months seems like a long time, but how fast does a year go by? It flies by. So I took advantage of this 1 year. That's all I'm giving myself. And I knew if I grind, if I was grinding and hustling, I could do it. And I did it. Okay, let's go to step 4. Consistency. And for most of us, it's really hard, especially type B people like me, because after like 2 months, I'm like, actually, I don't want to pay my student loans off anymore. I'm fine. We can just keep it. But if you're a person like me, especially my husband, because my husband's the one, when I met him, he didn't even have no debt except for his house. And me, I had a credit card debt, a student loan debt. I had all this debt. But he still left me anyway. Being inconsistent is really the hardest part. Keeping your goals clear. So I knew that I had to come up with the $10,000 a month. Of course, I also forgot to mention that I make money whenever I post videos. If they do well, I actually make money from the platforms that I'm posting on. I had to be consistent in my output too. So not just consistent with paying my debt off every month. I had to be consistent with posting and sharing and keeping up with the affiliate links, because what sometimes happens is you have a great month and you're bringing a lot of money and you're so excited, like, I'm gonna buy a pair of shoes. No, you're actually not gonna buy any shoes. Remember, consistency. We're not buying anything. We're grocery shopping. You can treat yourself. You can go out to eat with your family once a week, or maybe not. It depends on what your budget looks like. But also keep these figures in mind that yours may not be as big as mine, but it doesn't matter. You still have to go through the steps and go through the process, unless you don't win the lottery or your parents give you a lot of money. But most of us don't have that as an option. If you're consistent with making the income as well as paying it off, over time it will get paid. What's next on my list? Ooh, good one. Check-ins. Every month I was checking the progress and seeing how things were going. And there were some months where it's like, oh my God, we're going to get this so much sooner. And then there were some months where we're like, crap, I didn't even make the $10,000 to be able to pay off the student loan this month. I had to do a really good job at checking my small wins, where when we got to the halfway point, I'm like, and we're at month 5, and I'm like, wait, we're almost there. And plus, honestly, being able to see that number come down every month, it feels so good. I did a really good job at celebrating the small wins. I posted on social media, and the good thing about the community that I have built is that they were there, like, cheering me on. Like, it was just such an exciting time. But were there some months where it's like, it would suck because you have a big month and you work your butt off, and then the money comes, and then the money goes straight to the student loans. It doesn't feel good. I'm not even gonna lie and act like it felt good. It doesn't even feel good, but it's necessary, especially if you want to become debt free. It says to talk about, like, I asked for support, prayer. Here is a prayer that I prayed. I pray this prayer every day, that God would give me creative ways to pay off my debt. And even before I decided to go on the debt-free journey or the student loan payoff journey, whatever, I was like, God, please just give me creative ways to pay off my student loan debt. Because when I first graduated from college, I was a bank teller making like $20,000 a year with like $100,000 in student loan debt. I have a two bachelor's degree and a master's degree, and I was working as a bank teller, making $35,000 a year. There was no way I could ever pay it off. So in my head, it was never going to happen. And then, you know, life changes, things change, but my prayer stayed the same. It was that God would give me creative ways to pay it off, not knowing that social media would be the way for me to do it. But it was. And also, like, you know, leveraging your community, whether it's your family or your friends, to help encourage and support you through it all. But the main thing I would say is your mindset. If you want this, you can have anything you want in your life. You can have anything you want in your life, but you got to work for it. You can pray all day. Lord, please help me. Yeah. Prayers do work, but you got to put that work in. Maybe start a prayer, or even put sticky notes around your house to help encourage you, because not everyone has support by family, support of a husband, or a job a business or a job that allows them to do something like this. But I would always ask for just creative ways to do it, because it can be something that you're really good at. Not knowing that it's something that you can actually sell and make a lot of money at it, and then that can be your tool to use to pay off your student loan debt. For me, it just so happened to be me working in content creation on social media. It was never a thought that that would be the way I was going to be able to do it. Yeah, for a lot of us, 9-to-5s are not going to do it, especially if you have a lot of student loan debt. Now, over time, yes, when you get those bonuses for work, but not everyone gets bonuses for work. Not everyone's in a position to have jobs or careers that they thought they were going to have, you know, because I went to school to do this, but you end up not ever doing that job. But you still have to pay that student loan debt off. Leverage your community, leverage your family just to help support you, even if it's not financially, just to be like, now, you know, don't ask me to go to no parties. You know I'm paying off my student loan debt. Little things like that to help, you know, help you. Let them help you. Don't even ask. This year is not the year. I'm not doing anything. Or you can do the one thing. Because you don't really want to stop your life for this, because you got one life to live. You want to live it. But also, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want to be debt free? How bad do you want this to be paid off and taken care of? And I wanted it bad. I felt like it was a weight on my shoulders having that student loan debt, especially like for my family, whether it was buying a house, buying a car. That kept coming up. And thankfully, I'm in a position now financially where we can afford to do things like paying off. But I also hope to inspire people that you may be able to pay it off, but not in the way that you expect it, right? You may have to do something out of the box that you may not have ever thought of, but you can do it. But also be encouraged. Be encouraged to know that if this is a goal that you have for yourself, why can't you achieve it? But you got to think outside the box. You got to do some different things. Let me check and make sure I said everything I'm supposed to say. If you're wondering if it's possible for you, I'm telling you that it is. If little old me can do it, I know that you can do it too. But think outside the box. Have a very clear game plan. Budget that crap out. And don't give up. For you, it may be a year. For you, it may be a 5-year game plan. It doesn't matter what it is, but have the plan. It doesn't even have to be student loan. That could be any debt or any goal for your life in general. So I hope that encourages you. And that's the video. If you have any questions or want any more details, leave me in the comments. Let's talk about it. But this is exactly what I did and how I did it. It feels so good not to owe anybody. But I mean, I do owe a couple banks for my mortgages. But past that, but the good thing about owning homes are both my homes are worth more than what I owe the bank. Praise break. You can do it. We are not meant to live this life in lack. We're not meant to do that. A lot of us live like that. I did. Most of my childhood, most of my adult life, I lived like that. I'm speaking that on you today. That is not how you're supposed to be living your life, right? But sometimes we have to do things outside of the box to get to the next level financially. Even mentally, a lot of it is a mental thing. We didn't grow up with money or knowing people that have money, or check your mental. How are you talking to yourself? If you keep saying, I'm always going to have debt, I'm always going, oh, I'm never going to, then that's exactly what you're going to get. But if you start saying, I'm going to be debt free, I'm going to be a multi-millionaire one day, speak that stuff over your life so that you can have it. Well, I hope this encourages you, and I'll see you in the next video. Meet me in the comments. Let's talk about it. How much debt do you have? I mean, let's share it. Let's talk about it. All right, y'all. Thanks so much for being here. Bye.